Amazon generated more than $700 billion in net sales last year. But the part of Amazon you actually shop on is not where the company's profit story really begins. Amazon looks like an online store. You search, you click, a box arrives at your door. But underneath that box is something much bigger. One division rents out computing power. Another sells advertising inside the search results. Another makes sellers pay to access Amazon's customers. Another trains you to stop comparing prices at all. Amazon is not really an online store. It's an infrastructure company that happens to sell you paper towels. Think about the last thing you bought on Amazon. You searched, you compared, you clicked. The package arrived. That felt simple. You were thinking like a shopper. Amazon was thinking like something else entirely. Behind that one click was a search engine, a recommendation engine, a payment system, a warehouse network, a seller marketplace, an advertising auction, a cloud platform, and a membership program. All reinforcing each other, all getting stronger every time you use them. You thought you were buying a phone charger. Amazon was training you to expect convenience. Fast search, fast checkout, fast delivery, easy returns, endless selection. And once convenience becomes your expectation, every other retailer starts to feel slow. That is why Amazon is so difficult to compete against. It is not one business, it is a stack of businesses, and every layer makes the next layer stronger. I've spent more than a decade inside planning and finance teams, building the models that show where a business actually makes its money, not where it says it does. So let's step inside the boardroom. Here's the decision Amazon made over 20 years ago, and why almost nobody understood what they were actually building until it was already too late to copy. Amazon's retail business isn't designed to be highly profitable. It's designed to be large enough to fund everything else. In the late 1990s, Jeff Bezos told investors that Amazon would prioritize growth and market share over near-term profit for years on purpose. That sounded reckless. Most public companies get punished for saying profits can wait. But Amazon was asking investors to believe something different. The losses weren't just losses. They were building warehouses, delivery capacity, customer trust, and a habit that would eventually make Amazon the first place millions of people looked before buying almost anything. Imagine Amazon's retail segment running at a margin close to break-even most years, sometimes dipping negative, on hundreds of billions in sales. The profit contribution from the cart you just checked out is small, sometimes negligible. So why keep growing it? Because retail scale didn't just create sales, it created demand. And once Amazon owned enough demand, other businesses could be built directly on top of it. Takeaway: sometimes a low-margin business isn't a weak business. It's the foundation being built underneath a much more profitable one. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. Amazon doesn't need to own every product sold on its site. It just needs to own the road every seller has to drive down to reach you. Amazon's most quietly profitable innovation wasn't selling more products. It was making other companies pay to sell theirs. In traditional retail, a company buys inventory, prices it, and carries the risk if it doesn't sell. Amazon still does some of that. But its third-party marketplace, an independent sellers listing products on Amazon's platform, now accounts for roughly 60% of everything sold through the site, according to Amazon's own reporting. Those sellers pay referral fees on every sale. They pay for storage. They pay fulfillment fees to have Amazon ship their product. Increasingly, they pay for advertising just to be seen at all. A seller might think they're using Amazon. Amazon owns the search result. Amazon owns the checkout. Amazon owns the review system. Amazon owns the delivery promise that makes the customer trust the purchase in the first place. That means Amazon isn't just a store anymore, it's a toll road. And if a seller wants access to Amazon's customers, they pay at every gate to list, to store, to ship, to advertise, to win the click. Takeaway: owning the customer interface can be more valuable than owning the inventory. Once you own the interface, everyone else pays you to reach the customer through it. But the strangest part of Amazon's story is this. One of its most important profit engines didn't come from selling anything at all. It came from solving a problem inside Amazon's own walls. Amazon Web Services started as an internal engineering headache and became the most profitable part of the company almost by accident. In the early 2000s, Amazon's own engineers kept rebuilding the same servers and infrastructure every time they launched a new feature. It was slow, repetitive, and expensive. So the team built a standardized internal system any group could plug into instantly. Someone in the boardroom then asked the question that changed everything. If this saves us time internally, would other companies pay to use it too? That question became AWS in 2006. In 2025, AWS generated more than $128 billion in revenue. Even more striking, it produced $45.6 billion in operating income, roughly two-thirds of Amazon's total operating income that year. The smallest slice of the business by revenue carried the majority of the entire company's profit. Because once the data centers are built, each new customer costs Amazon very little to serve, while retail has to buy, ship, and warehouse a new physical product for every single sale. Quick note. Figures referenced in this episode are drawn from Amazon's publicly available financial filings, used to illustrate the financial logic, not as forward-looking projections. Takeaway. The most valuable part of a business is often the part customers never see. Infrastructure built to solve an internal problem first and monetize second. Retail built the scale. The marketplace built the toll road. AWS built the profit. But there's a fourth business hiding in plain sight, like inside the search bar itself. Amazon quietly built one of the largest advertising businesses on Earth, inside a shopping app. Amazon's advertising works because of one simple fact. People searching on Amazon are already close to buying. On social media, an ad interrupts your attention. On Amazon, an ad appears exactly when you're already reaching for your wallet. Search for wireless headphones, and the first product you see may not be the best product. It may be the product that paid to appear in front of you. The search result became real estate. The top placement became a shelf, and the shelf became an auction. Amazon's advertising business generated tens of billions of dollars in 2025 and remained one of the company's fastest-growing divisions. Because Amazon has something no other ad platform has. Actual purchase data, not just clicks. Unlike retail, that revenue carries almost no shipping cost, no warehouse cost, no inventory risk. Just a slightly reordered page. Takeaway. The most profitable products are often invisible to the customer using them. You experience it as search results. Amazon experiences it as one of its highest margin revenue streams. Retail, the marketplace, AWS, advertising, 4 businesses running inside one app. But none of them would work without the one thing that made you stop comparing prices in the first place. Amazon Prime was never really about shipping speed. It was about deleting the moment where you'd consider a competitor at all. Before Prime, the question was, which store should I use? After Prime, the question is just, can I get it on Amazon? Once you've paid the membership fee, shopping somewhere else starts to feel like leaving value unused. Prime membership has grown into the hundreds of millions of members globally, and Prime members are widely reported to spend significantly more per year on Amazon than non-members. Here's why the whole system is nearly impossible to copy. Retail scale built the warehouses. The warehouses made Prime's fast delivery possible. Prime increased how often people shopped. That frequency generated the purchase data that makes advertising so valuable. And the internal engineering built to run retail became AWS, which now funds continued investment in all 3 of the others. A competitor can build a cloud business. Microsoft and Google have. A competitor can build an ad platform. Meta and Google have. A competitor can build fast shipping. Walmart has tried. None of them have built all four running through the same customer relationship, reinforcing each other in a single loop that took 2 decades and hundreds of billions of dollars to construct. Takeaway: the strongest business systems aren't one great idea. There's several ordinary ideas built in the right sequence so that each one quietly funds the next. So back to where we started. Amazon generated over $700 billion in sales last year, and that wasn't really the business. The business was the decision made over 2 decades ago to treat retail as infrastructure, not the profit center, while quietly building a toll road for other sellers, a cloud computing company, an advertising platform, and a membership system underneath it. That is the hidden logic behind Amazon, not the box on your doorstep, not the checkout page. A system where four different businesses fund each other so well that the one you actually see is the least profitable one running. Here's your one question to take away. Next time you use a company that seems cheap, convenient, or even unprofitable on the surface, don't ask what they're selling you. Ask what they're quietly building underneath it. Every billion-dollar company has decisions most people never notice. Every week on Logic Atlas, we reverse engineer one of them. Not from the outside, from inside the boardroom.